Welcome back to the Wannabe Artist podcast. My name is Justin and I am one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, and I'm your other host.
We are back.
Finally.
Finally, dude. You want to tell any of our listeners why we've been gone so long?
Uh,
You want to take
so
some responsibility?
okay, well, I've been busy. I've had had to prepare for like college stuff and like school starting again.
Mm-hmm.
And this summer we also went on Alaskan cruise, which
Yes. Yeah,
took away a whole week.
before we get to that,
Mm,
as much as I'm pulling your leg, like I get it. Like
yeah,
it comes around, we're both going back to school
yeah, it's
very
a
soon.
busy
Joshua's
time.
already in school.
Yeah,
And I'm going back to school. Fall comes around and we have to go back into life. The summer can't be forever.
dude, I don't know. It felt like summer was going so slow at first,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden it just like breezed by, and now I'm in school again, and I hate everything.
Yeah,
But
like like the middle of July is when Kevin, who was on the episode last time, when he
Yeah.
came, and then I was spending a lot of time with them. That was just a very brisk, but at the same time long week.
Yeah.
And then I knew the vacation was coming up, and that just ate up a bunch of time.
It's a good time though.
It
Good
was good.
vacation.
Yeah.
Very
As
nice
Joshua
cruise.
mentioned, we went on a cruise to Alaska, and this cruise is the Princess Cruise,
Yeah.
I believe. So it starts in
Vancouver
Vancouver, Canada, and then goes around.
to Alaska
Yes.
and then back to Vancouver.
And then back to Vancouver. So yeah, we spent a couple days in Vancouver. It was kind of just our like crash spot.
Yeah.
We
Well, we
didn't.
spent one day and then we went on the cruise and then we spent another day back.
Yeah.
So it was like two separate like sort of day long times in
Yeah, and
Vancouver.
we didn't really get to see much of it, which I was kind of sad about, but they were like our rest days in between
Yeah.
or like before and after. But what I did see, like it's beautiful over there,
Oh,
and I would
yeah.
love to go
Super
back
great.
to Vancouver.
Yeah, me and mom actually walked around at night to get like water
Oh
and
yeah, that's right.
stuff. And just like seeing like the area and all the buildings and everything was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like the weather was like perfect too, because it's like not too hot, like slightly cool, but not like too cool either. Like it's
Yeah.
the kind of weather that I really like.
Mm-hmm. And we've been like warned over and over, like, oh, you're not ready for the Canadian, I guess, the breeze, how cold it is, and like how the Alaskan like chills. But it's summertime, so it really was not an
Yeah,
issue.
I'm sure. I mean, the workers at the cruise told us like it's just been getting warmer every year,
Oh yeah,
and
climate change.
yeah, unfortunately, but
Yeah, but yeah, the cruise itself was really cool.
hmm.
Honestly, the biggest thing that we can say is we were just very big back the entire
Oh,
fucking cruise.
there's infinite food, bro. There's that cafe, the pizza place. There's this burger place. I never had anything. There's the ice cream. There's the buffet. Like, there's no point in not taking advantage.
Dude, just infinite supply. Uh, I would go on a lot of like late night runs to get food, but this guy over here, let's talk
Okay,
about going on a lot of
bro. Okay,
runs.
my sleep schedule was like messed up. So
Mhm.
like, I'd wake up like late, and then I would like immediately eat dinner, and then I'd have to catch up on like all my food at like 12 a.m. All right, at 12, yeah, 12 a.m. or something like some stupid time like that, and just like not be hungry anymore.
That wonky ass schedule.
It's still kind of messed up nowadays. I think school's gonna fix it.
Yeah, and it didn't even matter because we're on a fucking boat. What
Yeah.
else are we
Yeah,
supposed to
I
do?
gained 1 pound, so it's like not a big deal.
I came back the same weight, and I was very disappointed because I hoped I would get some more pounds back, but I guess I didn't.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Unlucky.
very unlucky. I'm
Do
a
you want to
small
talk
body.
about what happened on the way back?
Oh, do we want to talk? Oh my god. Okay, I guess we can share our very disastrous travel story. So the entire reason we went on this cruise was to go, I guess, have like one final trip with our grandparents,
Hmm.
who they're both getting really old, so we wanted to give them something nice to remember,
Yeah.
and that was all very great.
The trip itself was great.
Yeah, the trip itself was great. The getting there and going back was the worst thing imaginable.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to start?
I mean, getting there was just like we were like late, and then
Mhm.
like we packed so much. Not we, mom packed so much stuff,
Uh,
and it's just like fitting it in the car and everything. And
I got a fucking speeding
I was gonna say
ticket.
that. I don't know if you wanted me to say that,
Yeah,
but
I'll
yeah.
say it. As I was going up to pick our grandparents up,
Mhm.
to go to the airport, I get a speeding ticket, like, of course.
Mhm.
So I still haven't taken care of that. I have to do that at some
Yeah.
point. Fuck. And yeah, we were almost late to our check-in.
This old guy was being a little bitch. Dude, and
Little
that guy was pissing
boomer.
me off,
Dude, he
bro.
was
Like,
such an op.
calm down.
Yeah.
So,
And that was just our little debacle getting there.
yeah.
But yeah, going back was a nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah, how do we even start with this?
All right. So we get on the plane,
Yes.
and then we're informed that there's like a half hour delay because I don't know, they like scratched the side of the plane.
Yeah, as they were
Yeah.
loading on all the luggage.
Okay, and they told us this, like, if you want to leave, you can leave and you'll get on a flight like later in the day. So I was like, okay, I'll just leave because like I don't want to risk it, you know? Like, like, okay, it was more of like a mental thing. I didn't think that plane was actually gonna go down because of this scratch. I was just like, I want to get off just to be like 100% sure because I don't want to be like stressed out on this plane ride that I'm gonna be on for 3 hours. It's like I have music I want to listen to. I want to like enjoy it, right? So we get off the plane, and my mom joins me too, because so I don't have to fly alone, I guess. And she wants to leave too. So we get off the plane, right? And it's Justin and then our two grandparents that are still on the plane because they didn't want to leave. But my mom accidentally took all of our passports instead of just me and
Yeah,
hers
and
and
this
I's,
is a thing that we do when we travel, is just she carries all the important stuff because
just so it's
she'll keep
safe.
track of it. It's
Yeah,
safe.
it won't get lost in one spot.
And that ended up being our biggest mistake because
Okay.
we realized, like, okay, we shouldn't be traveling without passports in another country where we're not like native to.
Yeah.
And we're trying to like get it sent back to us on the plane, but
Okay, so like I realized like, oh wait, did you just take their passports too? And then once we realized that we made that mistake, we talked to this like guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll get the passports back to them. Like I can do this." Like he assured us like, "Oh yeah, I'll get it done." So we were like, "Okay, great. We have our passports. They're going to get theirs so then they can go on their flight and then we can just go on our later flight." But then I mean, you want to just
yeah, I'm told, and
you're
my grandparents are also
yeah.
told, that we are being escorted off the plane because we don't have our passports, and they'll put us on a later flight. And for about 30 minutes, we just didn't know where our passports were because they couldn't really communicate with the people in the check-in.
Yeah.
And it was this whole thing, and it was so annoying. And I was stressed because I'm not like a very experienced traveler, I'd say.
Mhm.
It's usually just taken care of by whoever else I'm traveling with or my mom. And yeah.
Yeah,
Um
so you were
by the time we got the passports back, it was too late. The plane had taken off, and then we had to figure out an entire situation of getting back to California. So they put us on a plane
I mean,
to
okay, we were
LAX.
but okay, once you got your passports back, like we were fine. But like it was just that in between period where like this guy had you guys' passports, but then you guys weren't on the plane, but his job was to get it to that plane. So it was just like I feel like that in between period was like the most stressful part because it was just like they're like in like someone else's hands, like, and he doesn't know the full situation because like it wasn't like properly communicated that
No,
you
and
guys were like getting off the plane.
yeah, and there's no communication going on between those people. So I would just hear conflicting words, and it got very annoying. But I mean, we ended up back home. We just got back home way later in the day.
A few
Yeah,
hours.
and we can move on, but all I'm gonna say is that if you guys just stayed on the plane, we would have got back home completely
Bro,
fine.
if you had stayed on the plane, if you had stood on business and not and stayed on the plane when you were told to leave, then it also would have been fine.
Dude, they never got us our passports back, so I couldn't do anything. What was I supposed to do? It's not my fault.
Bro, it's her fault because she took the passports.
Yeah, there's a I mean, there's many perspectives to this story, but you know what?
Okay, unrelated
Live and
to it.
learn.
Yeah.
Live and learn. And I hope that didn't bore anyone too badly. But that was
I
our
just need to
very
get it out because I was like dumbest. Okay, why do airports? Why is every section of it like separated? Like they're all like run by different people, and those teams of people can't like communicate with each other. Like I feel like the whole system like relies on it running smoothly as one whole process with different sections. They should be able to communicate with each other.
yeah, but they also I get the complaint, but it's also they expect it to run like clockwork and they're divided so they're optimized to like work their specific area and like get people through
I
as
know, but
quickly as
do they not
possible.
have like walkie talkies with like other people in different areas?
I don't fucking know. I don't work in
Okay, yeah, you know
traffic
what?
control,
Yeah,
airport shit.
bro, if they didn't scratch the plane, it would have been fine.
Yeah, they goofed.
Dude, I had this like when we were getting on the second plane, I was worried like, bro, did we just like make like what if this plane goes down? Like, wouldn't that be like
That
the most ironic thing?
would have been the cherry on top, and I would
Mhm.
have been laughing in my grave.
Yeah, that would have been pretty funny.
Anyway, though, let's move on to some actual
Stuff.
meat,
Okay.
some discussion. We're talking about some music. I'm trying to think, what's the last thing we talked about, us two, music related?
Who's Brat?
Damn, and that was
Episode 2.
many episodes ago.
I mean, I'm sure we mentioned stuff like
Yeah,
along the way.
but like an actual discussion.
But yeah, actual discussion last time was Brat.
Yeah, so it's been a brat summer.
Yeah.
It's still kind of going, but we got something else that kind of took over for a little while. Do
Yeah.
you want to introduce?
Okay, so new album from Clairo called Charm. It's her third studio album. And yeah, came out pretty recently. We've been listening to it a bit for this episode. And what's your sort of I don't even know what to call this, like history with Clara? Like
Hmm.
when did you like start listening to her? How'd you get into her? What's your like opinion? All that.
Oh, that's a loaded question. I'll try to
Loaded
unpack
question.
that
Well,
neatly.
let's just talk about this
Yeah.
before like we get into
Um,
like this stuff.
I remember first getting into Claro, I'd say around like late middle school, early high school area,
So that's like 2019?
2018,
2018.
2019, and that
Oh,
was still when she was kind of coming into the scene and like she was very much defining the whole like bedroom pop
yeah.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've always been a fan. I think she's really grown as an artist,
Mhm.
and to see her like evolution through her career has been really interesting. And I think just in this current space that she's inhabiting, like I think she's one of the better ones.
Mm,
And in terms of like more mainstream, I guess, pop
yeah.
and like this kind of slower music,
Yeah.
slower female artist music,
Yeah.
she's one of the better ones. She's doing
Mhm.
things that a lot of people are not. So
Yeah.
yeah, what about you?
So, I mean, I think I first heard about Claro in like 2020,
Mhm.
like during quarantine when everyone was on TikTok. I don't know, it was so weird. Like there was this stupid thing about like guys would post about like her song Pretty Girl, and like I guess
Oh,
they
yeah.
would think they're cool because they like a girly sounding song.
Yeah.
That was one of the most annoying things I'd ever seen. But yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know this till recently. She's been around since like 2017. Like that's
Yeah.
when she released that song that like went viral on YouTube, and that was like the whole thing of her like blowing up.
Mhm.
So I mean, I thought that was cool that she's like sort of a homegrown artist, like ish.
Yeah.
Because I know her dad's like a big like marketing executive, so I don't know. Okay, you know, never mind. That doesn't matter because like nepo baby conversations are like really stupid.
Yeah, it's kinda pointless, but that is a lot of people's, like, genuine complaint that I hear. Even my friends who like
Hmm.
her always bring up the fact that she wasn't really in the scene, but since she had this connection through her
Yeah,
dad, she was almost like I don't wanna say, like, industry planted, but, like, she was kinda given the
she
tools.
was very privileged from the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Like she didn't have the same sort of like arduous journey that a lot of artists have.
Yeah, and all I'm gonna say to that is just it's just strategy at this point, and, like, in this industry of music, of film, of anything like that, the art world, you're gonna use your tools to
Yeah,
get you to the
because
place.
I mean, if you're in her position where you have those advantages, like, why wouldn't you use them
Yeah.
if it's your passion, you know? And, I do give her credit though, because it's not like she's, like, coming up as an artist doing, like, some horrendously derivative, like, boring stuff. Like, she was definitely, like, sort of, like, a leading force in, like, the bedroom pop
Yeah.
movement that became really popular in, like, the late 2010s and early 2020s. Like, that was the music that, like, everyone was listening to, especially, like, start of quarantine. I feel
Mhm.
like the vibes of Clairo were really influential in a lot of new artists.
Yeah, I love a lot of those early singles. Yeah, like Flaming Hot Cheetos,
Mhm.
Forever, and then a bunch of those. I think it was labeled. It's like an EP labeled like something demos. I can't remember,
Mm,
but that
yeah.
those are all great, and I enjoyed her first album. There was still definitely a lot of room to grow,
Yeah.
and I thought her second studio album, Sling,
Uh,
was really great. It was like a really
yeah.
noticeable growth.
Mhm.
And I think she's almost, like, continuing that with her new album, Charm.
Mm. Okay, so I've never been really too big on Clairo.
Mhm.
Like, I like some of her singles. I listened to them a lot when I was, like, younger and, like, first getting into music.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I'm just kinda, like, a little wishy-washy on this style of music because
Mhm.
it's like, as I've, like, expanded my taste, I've kinda realized it's not really my thing because it's, like, really just, like, low stakes
Yeah.
and, like, chill music,
Mhm.
which, like, you can vibe to, obviously, but I'm not going crazy over it. And I was low-key kinda disappointed with her first album, but it's, like, a first effort, so there's definitely a lot of room to grow, and I did not ever listen to her second album, but I definitely will.
Yeah, I
And
despite how much I enjoy her, I don't think she's, like, top of the game to say.
yeah.
And, like, that's not a diss at all, like,
She
it's
definitely has her place,
yeah,
though,
exactly.
like, she's doing something I think is meaningful, like, she's doing something that's, like, specific to her, like,
Mhm.
she has, like, her own unique sorta style that, like, provides something new, basically.
Yeah, it's never she's never just churning stuff out, it always feels very personal to her,
Mhm.
and I can always commend that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This album itself, I kinda mentioned that I really enjoyed it, and I think it is, yeah, the next gradual step in her career.
Mhm.
It carries, like, a lot of the weight and emotion that she kind of introduced in
Mhm.
Sling, and this feels like almost like another venture into, I guess, her evolution, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because like, I feel like a lot of her early stuff was very, like, electronic
Yeah.
and, like, synthy, but, like, I think as her, like, career has progressed, she's more gravitated towards, like, live instrumentation
Mhm.
and more, like, sorta, like, jazzy sounding stuff.
Yeah, jazzy pop,
Yeah,
jazzy, like, self
and I
pieces.
think that's a good decision creatively
Mhm.
because I mean, her voice is so synonymous with, like, the bedroom pop sound.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone that, like, delved into that because of her, like, sorta emulate her vocals a certain way, like, a lot of people took inspiration from that kinda tone, that's sorta, like, really relaxed kinda
Mhm.
singing, but I don't know, I just think this direction is much more interesting. Like,
Yeah, and
it's more contrasting, it doesn't feel like the voice is perfectly, like, what you'd expect from this kinda music, but that's what makes it more compelling.
mhm, and yeah, that in itself that she's almost going for this, like, genre change, switch up,
Mhm.
shows her growth again,
Yeah.
and that she's learning and she's deciding that she favors certain things.
Yeah, I mean, would you say that Sling is an in between or like a precursor to like the sound of this album, or do you think it's like sort of like a mix?
Ooh, I definitely think it's, like, a genuine progression,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, it was, like, a definite, like, branch out to another world, another
Yeah.
kind of sound,
Yeah.
because it's very different from how, um, shit, the first one is called Immunity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've only heard Amoeba from Sling,
Mhm.
and I think that song's really good. and it definitely sounds similar to this album. But a quality of this album that I think is interesting is that it kind of feels like sort of like jammy, where like if these songs like were like improvised, sort of like that would make sense. Like it kind of sounds like it was her, like the I don't know what the creative process for this album was, but it
Mhm.
kind of sounds like these songs were made with like her and then like the band in a room. They kind of just like jammed out for like a few hours until they got like ideas that stuck.
Yeah. I guess before we talk a little more, do you wanna give out any favorite tracks that you had from this record?
I would say my favorite tracks were "Thank You" and "Juna."
Yeah, I'd say those are definitely my top 2 as well. I also wanna highlight "Glory of the Snow,"
Mm-hmm.
"Nomad," which is the intro track,
Mm-hmm.
and "Sexy to Someone," I think are all very standout.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd say that these are, like, all-timers for Clairo.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of her best tracks, some of her best lyrics, and overall just, like, culmination of everything she's done in her
Mm-hmm.
career.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Juna is that it spawned a very annoying trend. The whole like "you know me" thing, bro. Like it's just like, dude, why are you? Okay, I'm gonna sound like angry at like teenage girls, but I'm just like, why are you posting this with like the most like basic things? It's like, you know me, it's photo of you, and then the second slide's you know me and all these things that you like, but it's like
Fucking Starbucks, Taylor Swift, and,
I
like
like water and oxygen and being alive. Like, dude, like it's just like stop. Like it's
Cool, bro, I like living too. I'm
oh
a
my
liver like
okay. I
you.
just can't with like these really self-serving like TikTok trends.
Oh, yeah, it's
Especially
the
when it's done with like a song I actually enjoy. It's like, bro, like I don't want to think of a teenage girl every time I listen to this song. A
yeah,
teenage girl's
it's the
like,
TikTok effect,
yeah,
and I at some point, I just at this point in time, I have to separate it from the actual song
yeah,
because, yeah, this one's definitely my favorite track.
mhm,
I've listened to it the most.
yeah. I think it's really interesting because it's like, I think it's the coolest track on the album because like the way it plays with like the synth,
Mhm.
that like synth line that like repeats throughout the song is like really cool, and how she kind of just like rides over the beat like really effortlessly.
Yeah, I think she has some of the best energy on this track
Hmm.
specifically,
Yeah.
and you kind of feel the narrative she's going for the most, so you
Hmm.
see the growth and progression since her last album, and you see
Yeah.
how she's kind of moved away from, like, the gloom
Uh-huh.
and is kind of coming back into understanding, like, love and, like,
Yeah.
accepting intimacy and things like
Oh
that.
yeah. No, I think lyrically this is also her best. I think a lot of her stuff like at the start of her career I felt was like sort of lyrically not like bad per
Mhm.
se, but just like really bland to me.
Yeah.
Like just super general stuff, but I feel like in this album she's like a lot more personal,
Mhm.
which is makes for more compelling songs. But I will say that I don't think this album is very like hooky, you know? And I don't think it's trying to be.
Hooky.
Like like there's not a lot of like melodies that I remember. Like they're
Mhm.
very like few and far between. And of course that's not like I guess the point.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a pop record, but it's more of like a chill pop record, like
Mhm.
something you put on to like vibe to. It's more about like the vibes.
It's weird because I really don't view this as pop.
Yeah, it's
It just feels like
because it has a lot of like indie vibes.
yeah, it feels like an indie, like, jazz piece that's more about just self-expression and less about the glamour and less about
Mhm.
these superficial things
And the
that a
crazy
lot of
courses, like
yeah.
the sticky courses, yeah.
And yeah, I'm just honestly, it's a personal thing, but I'm just a sucker for good vibes,
Mhm.
instrumentals, and when it's done pretty well, I'm most likely gonna give more points. Not to say that I didn't have some complaints because
Mhm.
some of these tracks really just left me wanting more.
Yeah. I think this album I agree with you that this album is really well done, like, instrumentally, but I just feel like sometimes she doesn't do enough for the song
Yeah.
to make it stick out. Like, like the track Echo.
Mhm.
Like I
Oh,
feel
I
like
was
that
gonna say.
song yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that song's like really, really boring. Cause like I think instrumentally and like that's the one song instrumentally that I feel like isn't really doing anything
Mhm.
that's like really like well executed. So then there's just like nothing that really sticks.
Yeah, because she almost sets herself up to kind of disappoint in a way, where it's like she has such great energy in tracks like Juna
Yeah.
and Thank You, Sexy to Someone specifically.
Yeah.
And it almost gives you this expectation that it's gonna be a consistent level.
Mhm.
And then by the time you get to those tracks like Echo, Second Nature, and
Yeah.
Slow Dance were specific ones that stood out where I was just like
They're
they're
fine.
cool and I'm liking her vocals, but there's not much like substance there.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I kind of would want for her to like do something more with her vocals specifically.
Mhm.
But again, it's also her like sort of style to be like really chill
Yeah.
and like not really belt out like high notes or anything. I don't know. I just think that the instrumental, like the growth in style and instrumentals should also coincide with like growth in like vocal style as well,
Mhm.
which maybe we'll get on the next release. But for right now, it's kind of like holding back some of these songs for me.
Yeah, and I feel like I still have to sit on it a little more
Mm.
because when I'm coming off of the high of like the best tracks,
Hmm.
I kind of look past any of the flaws
Mm, yeah.
and like specific critiques I have because when she's striking that like right balance between just her vibes and then her actual vocals and her really personal writing,
Hmm.
it's like magic almost.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like I'm the biggest fan of this album as a whole, but like when this album like does things right,
Mhm.
like it's really enjoyable and like really fun to listen to.
Yeah, because I'm still bumping a lot of those tracks still.
Yeah.
Juna, Thank You.
Dude, I feel like with albums, it's harder
Mhm.
to like look at it as a whole cuz like
Yeah.
cuz like a song is like such like a contained experience.
Mhm.
So like going from song to song, like what sticks out to you usually is like the really good stuff. Cuz like when you're watching a movie, like if there's a really good scene, but like the rest of it isn't as good, like that's a lot easier to like to sort of I guess take into account when you're like thinking about your enjoyment as an overall experience. But like with
Hmm.
albums, like I feel like if there's like good songs spread out throughout the album, but it's not all good, like you have a more like you're more like hyper focused on like the good stuff.
Okay. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, that could be a I see how that analogy works, but
Mhm.
even in movies, if there's just a couple standout scenes, but the overall piece is just a mess,
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal thing, but I will always be left with
Mhm.
the majority piece and
Oh yeah,
how
no,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like that for movies,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
for albums, it's like people don't overall look at the majority piece. It's just I feel like it's harder because
Yeah.
like there's like many albums where like I like one song like I love it to death, but then like the whole album is kind of just like whatever to me.
I see what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, and I think it's
That's like
weird.
unrelated. Like it's not it's not really having to do with the album. I just wanted to talk about that.
No, no, that's cool to bring
Yeah.
up. And I think it's just it's another personal thing. I'm really all over the place with how I feel that way, like with
Mhm.
albums and then like specific tracks.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll look at it as an overall piece. Other times I'll look individually in
Yeah,
tracks.
I mean, it also depends on the kind of album it
Yeah.
is. Because if it's like a concept album, like a Kendrick Lamar album or something, like you're definitely looking at like the whole piece and like the
Yeah.
whole story, not really like the individual songs. But like, I guess this album is sort of like in between that
Mhm.
because it's definitely meant to be like to have a lot of replay value, but also like it does feel like a cohesive piece.
Mhm. The only other thing I really have to I guess critique is it's really brisk. Like it's not even 40
Oh
minutes.
yeah.
But at the same time I'm like, is that really a valid criticism?
I mean, I don't really have that
Uh-huh.
issue with this album because I feel like just when I would listen to it, like it just felt like the perfect length to me. Like it didn't
Mhm.
feel like whenever I felt like I wanted more, it wasn't really because of the runtime. It was more about like what was happening on specific songs.
Yeah, like the substance
Yeah,
itself wasn't
yeah.
there.
But like I don't think albums really need to be long. Like you could have like a 30-minute album, and as long as you're doing like stuff with that time,
Oh yeah, for
like that's
sure.
perfectly
Whatever
fine.
whatever fulfills like the goals and needs of the album.
Yeah.
But I think with this one, it might just be like a thematic thing, but you're kind of left with that longing feeling and wanting more.
Mm,
And I can see that it's intentional in a lot of ways.
yeah.
But at the same time, as a listener, I'm gonna have that feeling of, okay, there's a lot of great things here, but at the same time, there's something I kind of need more.
Do you feel like lyrically, like I guess the stuff that she kind of explores, you think that she could have gone deeper with it? Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for a couple of the tracks I listed where it didn't really do much for me,
Hmm.
for sure, because the other ones where the lyrics were just so there was so much substance there, like it made me
Yeah.
want to her to like continue that train.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I'm not gonna get that with everything, and she's gonna have the
Hmm.
slower, more like methodical, melancholic pieces.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she can't have a story, a narrative with every single
Yeah.
piece of
Yeah.
the
For sure.
puzzle.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have to say. Do you have much else?
Not really. No. I mean, I enjoyed this album.
Me too.
That's yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that we finally got to talk about music again
Hmm.
because we kicked you off. I kicked you off last episode, and then we talked about New Gambino.
Mm,
Yeah. Anyway, though,
yes.
we should give a rating for Charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start.
No, you start.
The fuck is wrong with you? All right, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I'll be giving it a 6 out of 10,
Ooh.
which that's not a bad score.
Yeah, it's not.
It means I
I'm just
enjoyed it.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think it's definitely one of the better things that's been released this summer.
Hmm.
And yeah, you could be listening to worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's not in my like sort of like top three of the summer or anything, but
Mhm.
like it was very pleasant to listen to.
Yeah,
Like I wasn't mad that I had to listen to it like multiple times for this or anything.
yeah. And like how Joshua is with film, I definitely listen to a lot less music, so
Mm,
there's not too much to contrast it to, but I'd say like Brat, the new
yeah.
Cigarettes After Sex album, and
Ooh,
honestly this
that.
one is up there.
Mm,
But at the same time, it's weird to say that this album is one of my favorites because I only listen to the specific tracks I really like.
yeah. I mean, if that makes up a majority of the album, like,
I guess so.
yeah. Because like I don't listen to every song on like every album I like
Mhm.
either. Like there's gonna be like one or two snoozers on most albums, realistically.
You're right, you're right.
And sometimes those snoozers really resonate with people, and you just don't understand. Like that's just me. Like,
The snoozers. Yeah, the normies will love it.
no, that doesn't usually. Okay,
The
that
intel
doesn't usually
the
happen though. Yeah,
intellectuals will critique it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
That's everything we gotta say about Clairo's new album.
charm.
And in our next section, we're gonna be talking about a very popular summer movie release.
Yeah.
We'll be back. And we're back to talk about a film because that's something else we do on this podcast.
Nice intro
Okay, one day, one episode, you're gonna do the intros.
for everything.
Yeah, and it's gonna be
Can I just like
very
be the host like for one episode?
yeah, you can do that for sure.
Okay.
Because you do the music sections already, so I'd like to see you
Sorta.
do the intros, and I'd like to see you do
The movies.
the films and the outro.
Okay.
Anyway, though,
They're gonna be banging. You already know.
we'll see about that. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the third Deadpool movie, and Deadpool and Wolverine's first kind of venture into the current Marvel universe, the
Yeah.
MCU,
Yeah.
and
So cool. Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Before we get into that, this is kind of serving as like the swan song to the past 20 years of Fox X-Men movies.
Mhm.
And like I said, this is their first venture into the MCU. This is Disney's first R-rated Marvel film, and
Wow.
I guess I'll give it a little plot synopsis before we get started. So,
Baby's first R-rated movie.
yeah. A listless Wade Wilson toils away in civilian life with his days as the morality. Okay,
What?
let me get this
What?
closer to my face.
Okay.
Life with his days as the morally flexible mercenary Deadpool behind him. But when his homeworld faces an existential threat, Wade must reluctantly suit up again with an even more reluctant Wolverine.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm sure everyone knows that this is the most popular movie of the summer.
Yeah. Spoiler warning though, in
Yeah,
case.
spoilers, and it's made the most money I think out of maybe any R-rated release. Yeah,
Ever? What?
yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah,
Like more than like Joker?
yeah. I think so. I think it topped it.
Oh damn! Already?
Yeah, because this one, as much as it is like an R-rated movie, this is for
I mean,
teenagers.
it's only R-rated because of like swear words and like blood
Yeah,
and like yeah.
yeah. But before we get into the actual discussion about the movie, I would like to ask you, Joshua,
Yeah.
as someone who hasn't seen any X-Men or Deadpool movies, what did this movie kind of do for you, if anything?
Honestly, it didn't really do anything. Like it was
uh,
like I mean, I already knew like what the Deadpool style of humor was, and like I don't think it's aged very well because I
uh-uh.
think a lot of really annoying movies have sort of like copied it. And I guess I can give this movie a pass because it is like this character is like the OG of this kind of humor that we see, like
Yeah.
this self-aware fourth wall breaking humor that we so annoyingly see in like everything. But like that doesn't stop a lot of moments in this movie. What am I saying? This doesn't stop this movie from making my eyes roll at a lot of the moments. Okay, there we go. I got that sentence out. But still, I mean, a lot of the like X-Men stuff had no impact on me because like I know of these characters. I've never seen these characters in the movie before, so it's kind of just like when you have these like cameos and everything, like it's like the same like MCU stuff where it's just like they're so desperately like trying to like recreate the moments of like Avengers Endgame and
Yeah.
stuff that it's like but they're not willing to put in the effort to set it up. And I guess they did with like the whole Fox universe.
Yeah.
But just from my perspective, it's like it's the exact same thing where it's just like weightless because I don't have that like previous knowledge.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad we have your set of eyes on this because
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear from a perspective of someone who just kind of peeks in and out of
Mm,
this like sect of films.
yeah.
Because I've kind of grown up with X-Men and just
Mm,
this area of Marvel like all my
mm,
life.
yeah.
And while it's been a very rocky journey, um I still felt some sort of like satisfaction and like
Mm,
some sense of like, oh, okay, these things that were once so prominent in my childhood are like coming to a close.
mhm,
And okay, as much as it's not really coming to a close, like we're gonna
mm,
see these
yeah.
characters again. Like it feels like a sense of finality for
Yeah.
now. And I mean, in terms of X-Men movies, like this is definitely up there
Yeah.
because oh boy, there's a lot of disasters and failures that these Deadpool movies will constantly remind you about.
And I'm glad like the movie is at least like self-aware
Yeah.
of like all the Marvel BS. Like
Yeah.
it's making fun of itself, which makes it easier to stomach, I
Yeah,
feel.
we talked about it in our Madam Web discussion, but superhero movies in general are in a very strange place because the fatigue is setting in
Yeah.
and people aren't as confident with these movies. It seems like the studios aren't as confident either because they're backing out, like pulling back some of their releases and kind of restructuring
Mm.
everything.
Okay, I don't really think that fatigue is setting in because we still have like shows like The Boys and Invincible that like do really well every time they come around.
Oh yeah, I mean specifically with Marvel.
Yeah. I just think people are tired of getting the same story over and over.
Oh
And that's
yeah.
one thing I did like about this movie. I think the story was decently written to where like it didn't feel like just like a schlock fest of like going from this point to this point just to like have these certain like cameo moments and like fit in the multiverse and MCU and whatever. It didn't feel like they were just trying to shove everything in. Like it
Mhm.
felt like it flowed pretty naturally and made sense for like the character of Deadpool.
Yeah. It flows naturally
Yeah.
in a sense, but I disagree. It is definitely a schlock fest. And
Okay.
before we really dive into that, I want to ask you another
Yeah.
question. So in our summer preview episode,
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about this movie.
We did.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
I forgot about that.
we mentioned our base kind of thoughts about Ryan Reynolds
Uh-huh.
and the director Sean Levy, who previously directed Free Guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you kind of feel about his direction, if
I mean,
anything, in this movie?
he did a fine job. I mean, obviously, I don't think you can ever get as insufferable as
Mhm.
Free Guy. I think if you do that twice in a row, you just need your like director license like taken away or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you need to quit. But no, I mean he did fine. I could definitely see some of like the stylistic elements. Like there's a certain attitude to this guy's films that I'm
Mhm.
seeing. Like just from having only seen Free Guy and this movie, there's a certain attitude to his movies that is kind of annoying.
You've never seen Real Steel or Night at the Museum
I don't give a fuck.
or The Atom Project?
Fuck this guy, bro. Okay.
Yeah. He's never really directed anything where I ever was interested in seeing them.
Mhm.
I saw Free Guy. I don't know why I watched it, but I was interested,
Mhm.
and I regret that decision. But I think this is definitely some of his best work, and I think his style blends well
With Deadpool.
with Deadpool.
Because it is very zany, but I think the character itself has the edge to
Yeah.
sort of not make it like horrendous to watch, like horribly cringe inducing, like Free Guy.
Yeah, and I'm sorry there's a very low directorial and like stylistic bar for Marvel,
Yeah.
and I think this one really stands out because like the first two Deadpool movies, there's a lot of personality
Mm-hmm.
and it's very free flowing like the character. There's not really a very strict structure. It just kind
Yeah,
of
because it doesn't like,
yeah.
have to be.
Yeah, it kind of jumps over like the character Deadpool.
And when it comes to Ryan Reynolds, I think he's least annoying when he is Deadpool.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just doing his thing in this movie, and it's fine.
Yeah, this is his bit and he belongs here and nowhere else.
Yeah.
Like just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to mention the humor that you briefly commented on again because it is the year let me see the calendar. 2024. And I'm sorry, but this Rick and Morty like Reddit ass humor is not cutting it anymore.
Wait, so when was Deadpool 1 released?
This was 2016.
Damn, so we're 8 years on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not aged well at all.
Nope.
It's so weird because I feel like majority of the jokes like are not good, but like every once in a while, some character will just make some like offhand comment that's like legitimately funny.
Yeah.
So it's just like this weird like comedic whiplash where it's just like you're rolling your eyes at like every single thing that Deadpool says, but then he makes a little comment that like nobody in the theater audience is laughing at, but it's like something that's actually like feels well written and like funny. And I'm sure like some of those moments are like improvised or like spontaneous,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's probably why they're not like meticulously crafted by a board of writers
Mm-mm.
who don't know how to be funny.
Yeah, its approach is very throw everything at the wall. A couple things will stick and the rest will just kind of be left in the dust.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the overall tone of the humor is very like memer, like middle school boy
Yeah.
and
Boy.
yeah, boy. And I don't know. I'm a college student now, like it's
Mm,
not for me anymore.
yeah. I mean, we can talk about the action later, but I will say like I feel like the humor is bringing down a lot of the really good elements of this movie,
Mhm.
like the action, because I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. Like it's like 4 out of 10 for me, where it's like it's just bad enough to like make the movie
Mhm.
worse, but it's not like bad enough to make it like to ruin it.
Yeah. No, we can talk about the action. I honestly think it was some of the most entertaining that's been in the Marvel universe
Oh yeah,
recently. Just the introduction is very fun. It's
yeah.
very stylistic.
The bye 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 scene.
Yes, where
So good.
Deadpool does the
The dance.
choreography
Yeah.
for InSync's "Bye Bye Bye."
While killing what dude, that like that scene was actually like good. Like that had me like hyped for the movie. Cause if it like kept like that level of good, I feel like this I'm saying this so badly, but if it like kept that level of good, because it like established the movie with that scene, I was like, oh shit, this might be like a really fun movie.
Mhm.
And it was for the most part.
Yeah,
Like the action I think is very consistent. Like it's always like switching it up
yeah,
and making it fun.
and I think we have to talk about the jacked man in the room.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's
That
the
joke didn't
worst
land.
joke ever, bro.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, Hugh Jackman has returned as Wolverine after dying in Logan.
Bro, this movie fucking spoiled Logan for me.
And boy, the movie is 7 years old and you haven't seen
Dude,
it.
that's not a valid like point, bro. Like many things are years old.
But
To
yeah.
make it like cool to spoil it.
Okay, fine. As hype as his comeback to Marvel and just X-Men has been, it was very much like, why did you have to resurrect something that was like so perfectly capped off?
Concluded, yeah.
And don't worry, this movie's got you covered because the intro is literally Deadpool going like, literally digging him out of his grave and going like, you know what? We could use him for another movie.
And defiling his corpse,
Yeah.
which is what they're doing in this movie,
Yeah.
metaphorically.
Yeah. He's using his skeleton, his adamantium skeleton, to kill a bunch of TVA agents.
Mm, didn't
And
know those were called that.
yeah, because I watched Loki and those are
Oh,
from Loki. Yeah. That's
oh, they
I
are
think that is the most annoying part of this movie is it's not forced, but it kind of had to
built off of
build
like
off of everything the MCU has established
yeah,
and naturally fit into it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's I mean that's just been an issue for a long time. Like movies that have like prerequisites,
Homework.
yeah, homework outside of its own franchise. It makes sense, like if you'd have to watch like Deadpool, just Deadpool 1 and 2, because like it's the same series, but like when they're taking stuff from like Loki, a freaking TV show,
Yeah.
and then like an entire like universe of movies, it's just too much.
It's getting really
Impossible to keep up with.
ridiculous. And as much as I sound like I'm a scholar, I just kind of passively keep up with everything Marvel. Like at this point, I'm on the train. Like I can't stop at this point,
You're too
and
far
I
in,
need to be a part of the conversation. But
bro.
yeah, it's very annoying, and I don't like that there's all these prerequisites. I wanted this to be its own kind of piece,
Yeah.
but it very much was and it was not.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I said earlier with like this movie not feeling like super schlocky, like I think a good example of that is like what was it called? The last Spider-Man.
Across the Spider Verse.
No, the Tom Holland
No
ones.
Way Home.
No Way Home. Like I feel like that movie, like it had more hype around it, like around its cameos, and that's why like it felt better. But I do think like that movie feels schlocky on a rewatch.
Mhm.
Like it feels like it's going from point A to point B, and those points are just like cameos. While this movie, I feel like incorporates it but doesn't prioritize it over its story.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And as much as it is like a schlocky thing,
Hmm.
it's very true to the nature of just like comic books and comic book
Yeah,
movies. And this one, I think it definitely feels less like almost eye candy-ish than like something like Doctor Strange 2.
yeah.
Yeah,
What
it
were you
feels
saying?
more eye candy-ish in properties like Doctor Strange 2
Hmm.
and a couple other ones I'm probably forgetting.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's just like a mindless, schlocky comic book film. And I honestly can't get too mad at it because it's having fun with
yeah.
all the things it's doing. And I'm glad you bring up the cameos
Hmm.
because, yeah, this movie is the ultimate cameo fest.
I mean, yeah.
We got characters from 20 years ago coming in.
Hmm.
We got MCU characters making huge, long-winded appearances. We have
Yeah.
annoying ass Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau cameo, and that was so long-winded and annoying because it's almost an integral scene to Deadpool's arc in this movie.
Mhm.
Him, like, wanting to fit
Oh,
into a
yeah,
group.
I don't know, to me, it just felt like a joke they thought was really funny,
Yeah.
but,
But he
like
was just overstaying his welcome.
yeah.
But yeah, there are some really, really great cameos though and appearances.
Yeah.
We got Chris Evans back.
I think that was my favorite one
Yeah, as
because it
the
was
Human Torch.
all just played as a joke,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of cameos take themselves way too seriously, but, like, I'm glad with this movie, like, they're not, like, trying too hard with it,
Mm-mm.
you know?
They're having a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's one of the best bits. He comes back. You think he's probably going to be Captain America,
Uh-huh.
but he's Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. He gets absolutely bodied by just this random X-Men character,
Mhm.
Pyro, I think he's called. And then he gets absolutely murked by the
Oh, wait,
antagonist.
I missed that first scene.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I went to
this
the
guy went to the
bathroom.
bathroom.
No, I left, there was no Chris Evans, and I come back, and he's just on the screen, I'm like, "Oh, this is what we're doing
That's funny.
now." I knew he wasn't Captain America, though, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Did
but
you know he was a Fantastic Four
yeah,
character?
yeah.
Okay.
I've seen, like,
Clips.
clips, yeah. It's kinda cursed when you see, like it's like seeing, like, Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, like, it's just, like, kinda cursed when you see, like, an actor who's, like, playing a more, like, established superhero now
Yeah.
and seeing, like, their past roles
The
and that kind of thing.
trenches.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the biggest example of this like cameo show nature
Mhm.
is Deadpool and Wolverine. They're kind of searching for a team to help them revolt against. Oh my god, there's so much that we didn't talk about, but they're searching for a team to fight Cassandra Nova, the
Yeah.
antagonist, who is Charles Xavier's sister
Yeah.
from like another universe.
And I'm pretty sure not most people aren't familiar with her character.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and honestly, she was kinda like, whatever, like
Yeah, she wasn't great. I think it's the actress Emma Corrin. She
mm,
seems cool. She seems like she was having fun, but yeah, the character wasn't the greatest.
yeah.
But as I was saying, the team and is a bunch of Fox X-Men characters.
Mhm,
We have Jennifer Garner returning as Elektra Nachios
mhm.
from Daredevil. We
Wait,
got
oh, she's from, like, the Daredevil, like, the movie, right?
yeah.
Okay.
We got Wesley Snipes coming back as Blade, who I
Mhm,
thought that was really funny.
yeah.
A lot of people know there was a lot of beef between Reynolds and Snipes on Blade 3, and you can go research that. Uh, he had a big
He was
ego.
in Blade 3? I
Yeah,
almost said
he
Braid.
basic Braid. He basically played like Deadpool in that movie.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
Like it was a completely different character, but it
but
was
the same, like
the same humor, quips, all that.
okay.
Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, Snipes, he had a huge ego on that
Mhm.
set. He would only want to be called Blade on set. He would smoke weed. He called Ryan Reynolds a cracker, which is not okay. And he
That's pretty
threatened him with
funny.
his life,
If
but
you're
they
gonna
got him
call any
back.
white man a cracker, it'd be Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. I'll just I'll not comment on that, but that's I agree. Moving on, we
Yeah.
got my favorite appearance. We have Channing
Oh my
Tatum
god.
as the Gambit.
Nigga, but dude, this was the funniest cameo because like I had no idea who this guy was. I didn't even know his name till after the movie was over. But like just when it's like this big like slow motion moment and you just see this like goofy ass guy like come out like it's just
His costume looks really stupid. And he comes in, it's very true to the Gambit character, but he comes in with this very thick, I don't remember which country of origin, but very thick accent.
dude, I have no idea,
I
bro.
don't know.
There's
Don't
definitely an
cancel us.
accent.
But yeah, he comes in with this thick accent,
Mhm.
and they're definitely playing it for jokes, but it does sound god awful.
Yeah.
His famous line, "Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here," which has been getting memed, and we've been saying that for the past few weeks because it's
It's
glorious.
so funny that like when I was watching the movie like in theaters, I wasn't laughing at the Gambit accent, but like after watching it, like I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. And this brings in another problem with like the Deadpool movies itself is while they have this like self-awareness, you can't tell like to what level it
Yeah.
is because they're definitely playing his accent for jokes,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's like, is he for real? Like, is he doing
Like,
like seriously?
would he have sounded like this if the movie if his original appearance actually happened?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
Hopefully
it's hard to tell.
hopefully not. I mean, it's the same thing with, like, the cameos too, like, they obviously, like, make a point to, like, make fun of this kinda thing, but, like, at the same time, they're doing the exact thing they're making fun of,
Yeah.
which,
It's
you
not any
know
better when you were self-aware about it.
yeah. It's the exact same thing I said about the fucking Brat Deluxe album, like,
Mm.
because, like, the cover art was, like, self-aware, like, does that make it better? I don't know,
Yeah, I can be a degenerate asshole and know I'm a degenerate asshole.
but still be a degenerate
Yeah,
asshole.
exactly. Like, we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was oh, wait, we got, I think her name's Daphne Keane coming back
Oh,
as
yeah.
X-23,
Mhm.
the little girl from Logan, and yeah, she was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
whatever.
literally just like, "Oh, she's back."
Yeah. And
Yeah.
her character didn't really do much, or she didn't
Yeah,
anyway.
that's the case with most of these surprise appearances. But yeah, I kinda wanna talk about Reynolds and Hugh Jackman themselves because I think in their respective roles, this is some of the best performances they give.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Hugh Jackman is acting his ass off.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like from the trailers, it seemed like he was half-assing it, but then when
Yeah.
you actually watch the movie, he's, like, fully into it. Like,
Mhm.
he's giving 100%, which I mean is, like, expected for Hugh Jackman. I feel like in every role he does, even if it's in, like, The Greatest Showman, like, he's always giving it 100%.
Yeah, this definitely wasn't a phone it in performance.
Mhm.
He definitely came back because he saw there was ripe potential with
Yeah.
this story, and yeah, he gave it his all.
Yeah. And that's another thing about this movie, like, even if I wasn't, like, 100% enjoying it, like, I do have to give it credit, like, it does feel like a story that was worth telling.
Mhm.
Like, it didn't feel like it was just made for the sake of being made,
Mhm.
like a lot of movies, MCU movies feel like. Like, the story felt unique, it felt like it had, like, a worthwhile point of, like, closing out the Fox universe whilst also, like, being, like, a legitimately, like, fun action movie.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest takeaway is just, did you have fun or did you not?
Yeah,
And I'd say I had fun.
yeah.
I wanted to ask you another question. How'd you feel about the music
Oh,
in this movie, the soundtrack?
it was all over the place. I don't know, I mean, obviously with Deadpool, you'd expect, like, there to be, like, obnoxious licensed music.
Mhm.
So I'm not, like, upset at just its existence, but, I think the "Bye Bye Bye" scene was really good.
Mhm.
That was, like, a fine inclusion of licensed music, but I think that other song that they
The
kept
Madonna?
playing, yeah, I hate that song. Like, I already hate that song, like,
Uh-huh.
outside of the movie, and then when it's
Damn.
just in this context of, like, a stupid MCU movie, it just makes it worse.
Would you believe me if I said this is the least annoying of the soundtracks from
Of the
Deadpool
Deadpool
movies?
movies,
Yeah.
that makes me sad. This is the least annoying?
Yeah. The first one, it's riding a lot of that Salt and Pepper song, the Shoop song. "Hey,
What?
yeah, I wanna shoop, yeah." You don't know that one?
Are you from another planet?
Huh?
What? I've never heard of that.
Well, it's very cringe and annoying,
Okay.
and his, like, kind of theme, like, flagship song
Mhm.
is, I'm forgetting it. It's that "X gon' give it to you" song.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a gangsta ass song. That's a good song right there.
Yeah, why didn't they reprise it in this movie?
On God. And then what about the second movie?
Second movie? It was more the same kinda level as the first one. There was a whole running gag with, like was it, like, Skrillex or something?
Skrillex?
Yeah. Skrillex or, like oh, no, it's that genre that he's in.
EDM?
Yeah, EDM.
Dude, those 2 movies sound like they have way better soundtracks
Bro,
just from what you're describing.
it's really annoying. Like, there's
EDM,
this
bro? That's
continuous running gag with, fuck, what's his name? Thanos?
Thanos?
Yeah.
Like, he's in it?
No, the actor. Josh
Oh,
Brolin.
Josh
Josh
Brolin,
Brolin,
yeah.
who plays Cable,
Uh-huh.
and he, like, disses, like, EDM,
Oh, uh-huh.
and then Deadpool's like, why you dissing me or some shit like that. And yeah, it just keeps going on. There's that really annoying French Montana Lil Pump song,
Ew.
Welcome to the Party.
Dude, that's a shitty ass collab. I forgot about that song.
But yeah,
Bro, do not talk about French Montana
yeah.
in these
That's kind of
parts.
the level of music
Dude, that
that
sounds
this
better than what was going on here. I mean, those are the only two songs that stuck out to me.
yeah.
The NSYNC and then the Madonna. Like, and it was like a I like, I don't like.
Mhm.
So it averages out to like a whatever.
Yeah. And the musical score itself I think is pretty good. It's
It's
definitely
fine.
better than a lot of
I still didn't remember
Yeah,
anything from
exactly.
it.
The bar is so low at this
It
point
just
that
does enough to make the movie watchable.
yeah.
But it's not distracting. Like it's not bad enough to be distracting because it isn't bad. It's just not memorable.
Yeah, and I'd say another element of the plot that I thought was kind of smart, kind of fun, was the fact that it's this whole multiverse plot where
Mhm.
universes are kind of like being erased and destroyed,
Yeah.
and all of these like Fox X-Men characters from the past, their universes are being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of fun to see, I guess, reality of like Fox going under the ground with
Yeah.
Disney and that coming to life in like an actual plot in this movie.
Yeah. And it's like sort of like reflective of real life of how like this universe itself is just being destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. And cuz they're in the wasteland
Yeah.
or whatever it's called
Is
from
that like a comic thing? Or is
what do you
this like
mean?
an original thing? Like the whole concept of like this place that like in the movie
It's
like
definitely in some comics because that's
okay.
from the Loki show.
Oh, okay.
Where it's this wasteland where multiverse people are sent.
Bro, I had no idea like this movie had so much to do with Loki. Like
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen
And
the show, so just watching it, I was like, oh, like these are like new concepts.
yeah, in the wasteland there's this destroyed like Fox 20th Century Fox logo. And I thought that fight was really cool. It's very well choreographed and shot. Like I think just the production and just how that scene was realized was done really well.
What's the one I missed?
What what do you mean?
What you're talking about right now? Was I there?
No, you saw this
Oh,
sequence.
okay.
It was when Johnny Storm came in that you
Oh,
meant.
okay, okay.
But
I
yeah.
think my favorite action sequence was near the end when they were fighting like all the Deadpools, and it's just like this like long take, like scrolling by
Mm.
of him like of them him and Hugh Jackman just like destroying through this wave of Deadpools. I thought it was really fun.
All right, that was cool.
Yeah.
Had its little old boy moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But these
I didn't even think of that comparison, but this is actually very similar.
these other old oh my god, I almost said old boy cameos. These other Deadpool like variants, it wasn't really funny to me at all. It was just kind of
Yeah.
annoying.
Like the dog bit was kind of just like
Oh my god, yeah.
stupid. Like
It's a cute, ugly dog.
that's pretty funny, dude.
It's
Good
funny.
joke,
It
bro.
might be funny for 2 seconds, but if you
Mhm.
keep doing it, it'll just get more funny.
Dude, it just drags to
Yeah.
every time. It's like, is this really what we like? Is this really the hill you want to die on? That this
Yeah.
joke is that good? Like,
Yeah. Oh, and in this scene, we finally get the Hugh Jackman Wolverine mask that everyone's been dying to see on film, and
and
it looks like shit.
yeah, we learn why it's never been in
Yeah.
a movie.
Okay, it doesn't look like shit, but
It doesn't.
yeah.
It's weird. Like the suit is very good,
Yeah.
I think, but the mask is like, it's like, like it just like what is? There's something about it. Like I can't even explain. I think it's just like a very like cartoony design.
Mhm.
So to have that in like real life is like it's just like not very fitting.
It's a weird thing because people always complain about, like, what they choose not to adapt, what they choose to adapt,
Mhm.
and I've been seeing a lot of people are satisfied with the mask,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I
I
just,
mean,
like
it's passable.
yeah,
Like
it's totally fine,
yeah.
but it's like, at this point, we've gone so long without it that
Yeah.
it we eh.
Yeah.
Just eh.
You can just leave it for the comics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of other good X-Men content right now, comics, the X-Men '97 show
Yeah.
is really cool, and it makes X-Men seem like a really dope universe, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. I also think that because like Deadpool like just his like suit and his mask like it blends so well with like CGI and
Yeah.
everything. that like when you have like the Wolverine mask like next to it,
Mhm.
it's kind of just like pales in comparison.
It's so weird because we've seen a lot of this example from like other movies like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like the costume always looks very like wonky and out of place.
Yeah,
And you can tell that there's a lot of like CGI texture over what I
like
presume is like an already good practical suit.
yeah, like done by a stuntman or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Deadpool, he's always looked fine.
yeah. It
And
actually looks like incredibly natural. Like
yeah.
even when it doesn't look 100% real,
Mhm.
like it fits the environment really well.
Yeah. And honestly, it's been a big complaint in recent Marvel movies, but the special effects all look pretty great.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even. Yeah, no, we should talk about that. Like this is like the first like MCU movie that's had like basically like I'm not gonna say flawless, but
Uh-huh.
like it doesn't have a single moment where you look at the effects, you're like, what is like what is this? You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't have its like Thor: Love and Thunder moment
Oh my god.
or like yeah, whatever other movie that had bad CGI
Yeah, where
recently.
it like physically pulls you out
Yeah,
of the
or
movie.
like Ant-Man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I definitely think the backlash they received from like those two moments, like I think they're definitely taking that into account now.
Oh yeah, it
Like
cut deep.
they can't really get away with that,
Nope.
especially with the kind of stories they're telling.
Mhm. And this shows that they can do so much. So many crazy extravagant stories and they
Mhm.
can't really get by on this mediocrity anymore, which
Yeah.
is a good thing. And Disney hopefully is taking the right lessons from this movie,
Yeah.
but they probably won't be. Just being honest.
People like cameos. We're gonna put cameos in everything now.
That's always the takeaway.
People like quippy humor. We're gonna add more of it.
I mean, that's been like a Marvel staple,
Yeah.
the Whedon speak style of humor.
Yeah. I just hope we only have one Deadpool. Like I don't want everyone to be like Deadpool. I
We're
mean
pretty much there.
that won't okay, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have too much else to say. I think this movie works best when it's doing what the title suggests,
Mhm.
and it's just Deadpool and Wolverine
Yeah.
because their banter is really fun.
Yeah.
Got
The
great
scene
chemistry.
in the car where they're like just killing each other over and over, I thought
Oh
was really
shit.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that sequence. Yeah, that's a really good action sequence.
Mhm.
These characters are basically invincible, so they're just going at it in a car.
What?
Huh?
What did you just say?
Oh, phrasing. They're tearing each other apart in a car.
What? What the fuck did you just say, bro?
Is that not better?
No, I'm fucking
They're eating
confused.
each other out in a car.
I I don't know. I read somewhere. I don't know if this is true that it's like intentionally shot like a sex scene, like for a joke.
Oh, I'd believe it.
Yeah, but yeah, you could definitely see that, and I think that's really funny.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it works when it's being a Deadpool Wolverine movie.
Mhm.
All this other fluff, cameos, multiverse
Mhm.
nonsense. It's literally
It's
just like frosting.
yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like I could go without it.
Yeah. It's just if you love becoming the embodiment of the Wojak pointing meme, then you'll love every second of
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah, because like as much as I could go without it, it's definitely like one of the main appeals for most people that are
Yeah.
coming to watch it. So it's not like I would take it out. Like if
Dude,
I was in charge of the movie.
dude, who are the cameos in this movie?
Dude, you see that? Character from 20 years ago?
Whoa! Look who that is.
Dude, no way. Dude,
And I'm
I
not
wish I could be like that. I wish
yeah.
I could be that excited for this kind
And
of
I'm
movie.
not like oblivious to the effect because I was really into comics at a certain point in my life, and I still am. I still do really enjoy the comic book movies that do it well,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I mean everyone's experienced like Avengers Endgame. Like we
Yeah.
all know what that feeling is when it's done well.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been done well since then.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And this movie kind of wraps up with a I guess montage and kind of send off video during the
Mhm.
credits to the past 20 years of Fox Marvel movies.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I wasn't expecting it, but I did feel emotional inside,
Mhm.
which is something that's hard to get out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like kind of saying goodbye to these movies that have been so prominent and in
Mhm.
the kind of foreground the past 20 years. I
Yeah.
don't know, did that have any kind of effect on you?
No, I didn't really care.
No?
I haven't seen any of these movies, so why would I
Oh,
care?
that's true. That's true.
No, okay, I'm joking. It was sweet.
Yeah.
Like from an objective viewpoint, I was like, oh, that's nice. Like even if some of these movies were bad, like you're still like respecting it
Yeah,
in the wrap up.
good Green Day
It
song
didn't.
to
Oh yeah,
accompany.
like it didn't do much for me like emotionally, but like I didn't hate it. You know, like it was good. It was like heartwarming to see, even if you don't feel that connection.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's everything I have to say. Do you have anything more to add to Deadpool and Wolverine?
Nah, bruh. That was it.
Okay. Sean Levy, you did okay today.
Yeah.
If you make another free guy, you're canceled
Yeah,
again.
you're done, bro. I swear to God.
Yeah. And we're going to see these characters again. They're coming back.
I don't know how, but they will. Because
They'll be in Avengers. They'll be back.
whenever we get that.
Oh, that's something, it's off topic, but I wanted to bring up. Did you see the new Avengers news?
What?
So they're pivoting
Oh.
to Doctor
Oh
Doom.
yeah, no, I saw that.
Yeah. So we have
Played by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, we have Robert Downey Jr. returning
Yeah.
as Doctor Doom.
Did bro run out of money or something? Like I mean, I know like he's Doctor Doom in the comics, like
Yeah.
a version of Tony Stark, but it's just like
Dude, I don't know, like it seemed like he was really keen on
branching out.
keen on letting go of this universe, but he's coming back.
Yeah.
And it seems like a really desperate attempt to win back the audience, but I don't know. We'll see
All
how
that
it plays
matters
out.
is if the movie is good or bad.
Yeah,
How it's done. So we'll have to see.
we'll see whenever it comes out if we're still alive.
Rest in peace, Jonathan Majors.
Rest in peace, bro's career.
What did
Anyway,
he do?
it was like some domestic charges.
Yeah,
like he was a
don't do that, bro.
yeah. Treat your wife with respect.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's give ratings for Deadpool Wolverine.
Yep. All right, I'll go first this time. I rate this movie a 5 out of 10. Maybe a
Nice.
6.
I would give it a 6 out of 10 for now. It's very fun.
Yeah.
It's everything I wanted out of a stupid Deadpool intro MCU movie.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I'm going to be revisiting this one really at all. So honestly, it most likely will move down to a 5. But for now, Mr. Levy, Mr. Reynolds, you get a pass.
Yep.
Mr.
Decent
Jacked
job,
Man.
guys. Decent job.
Bro, I think we made a name for ourselves here.
Oh my
I
End
can't
the
stop.
episode.
Huh?
It's over.
Hold on.
Okay.
That was our Deadpool 3 discussion.
Yep.
And I know we're a little behind, life, vacation kind of hit us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be catching up next episode with a lot of summer releases.
Yeah.
And after that, we'll catch up on some more music.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll go from there.
We will.
Yeah, sir. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Or you'll listen to us next time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.